Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right, he's our guy, Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department. Always bringing some information and speculation about the Minnesota Vikings. Also, we'll get you back in the mix on Flagrant Howls as the football season kind of winds down, Dukes. But let's just start. There's a bunch of Vikings kind of newsy-related things. We want to get your thoughts on quarterback-related things. But the big news yesterday, Adam Thielen, we had heard some buzz over the weekend just kind of behind the scenes that he may have asked for his release last week, and then he got deactivated, and then it turns out everyone kind of came out with it yesterday that he did ask for his release last week. They deactivated him as they kind of sorted through, and they waived him. Adam Thielen, it was like a net 5th-round pick because there was a few different picks in exchange. He had 11 catchable targets, 8 catches, 3 drops, only 10 yards after the catch on those 8 catches. And he obviously didn't get the playing time or the role that he thought he was going to get or desired. So the Adam Thielen tenure, number 2, ends in Minnesota in just kind of a nondescript and bizarre way.
Yeah, I mean, massive mistake. I mean, we're talking about a $4.65 million mistake. That's the cash the Vikings will end up paying out to Adam Thielen. Heck, why not make this decision a few weeks ago so that conditional 7th could have turned into a 6th? If you looked at the conditions, the Vikings could have had a little bit higher draft pick among the picks coming back, or the 2 picks coming back to them from Carolina. So why wasn't this decision made a couple weeks ago? So that seems like a miscalculation. I mean, Adam hasn't been playing. We know that. Going back to the Lions game, into the Ravens game, into the Bears game, into the Packers game, less than 10 snaps, each of those 4, then a healthy scratch on Sunday. I will tell you this. So his representation is our good buddy Blake Barrett. I remember being in Blake's downtown Minneapolis office in the spring, late March, early April. It was pre-draft, but it was after the Jonathan Allen contract came to fruition. And I remember talking to Blake then. We were talking about Adam's situation. Now, we didn't know in late March, early April that him landing here in late August was a possibility. But he was hinting to me at that time that this would be Adam's last year in the NFL, that he was positive Carolina would do him a solid, that if the Panthers season went sideways this year, that the Panthers either at the trade deadline would have moved him, or like this scenario after the trade deadline would have released him. So this was something on Adam's mind, that this would likely be his last year, that he wanted to go chase a ring come November, December, and if he wasn't in the right situation, he would ask for his release. So yeah, I mean, that's accurate, right? Blake reached out to the Vikings. He saw what we saw. Adam wasn't even playing. So yeah, he wants his client to have a chance to go fulfill his dream to win a ring. And so Adam is now on the open market. Is there a logical fit? How much football does Adam truly have left? I mean, I've thought about Denver with the George Payton, Kelly Klein connection. I've thought about New England, just about the possibility of them maybe needing a vet wide receiver. But I don't know, Phil.
They've needed him for 10 years.
Can he still play? I just don't know. But I do think, I mean, Blake doesn't do what he did to ask for the release without some sort of understanding that he can land Adams somewhere. But yeah, just super unfortunate, right? I mean, you go back to August, and I get it. Justin Jefferson, hamstring issues throughout training camp. Jordan Addison, 3-game suspension. Jalen Naylor, hand injury. To me, what they didn't figure out was that Jalen Naylor could return, could be on the field for week 1. That, remember, they wanted to go the conservative route, not have Jalen undergo a surgical procedure. Well, Jalen was all about, hey, contract year. This is a golden opportunity. No Jordan Addison. I need to be on the field September 8th in Chicago. I cannot miss multiple weeks. This is my chance in my contract year to go shine. And so Jalen goes out to Southern California, gets a second opinion, a doctor not associated with the Vikings. This doctor says, hey, Jalen, I can do a procedure, and I will get you back on the field week 1. Jalen undergoes the procedure. He's then back week 1. If the Vikings doctors had diagnosed that situation properly, do they even make the trade for Adam Thielen? I think that's a fair question to ask.
Dukes, I know Thielen put out the statement too. Kwesi had a statement. This seemed obviously, to Phil's point, probably planned in the works, didn't just pop up randomly on Monday. And obviously Thielen, Minnesota born and bred, even says in the end of the release, don't worry, Purple, I'm coming back here to officially retire. We'll know that'll probably happen in the coming months, if not sooner rather than later. What was, from your understanding, was this just in a totally mutual parting of ways? Was this Thielen also, was he not liking the vibes around anything, or was this just an easy situation where he said, you know what, I only have 5 games left in my NFL career. If I have a shot to go play for a contender, I want to do that. Was there anything behind the scenes other than just, I'm good here, let me out of my contract and let me go maybe chase something else?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, Declan. My sense is more the latter. That sure, were there some interesting back and forth, Thielen trying to figure out, why can't I get on the field? I can still play. Why are you not putting me out there? Why am I only playing 3 snaps at Lambeau Field? Get me out there more. Now, some of it is the Vikings just haven't run as many plays, right? You look at just overall plays run, right? They can't sustain drives. And so I guess that's a part of it to some extent, but sure, whether it was with his position coach, others with the Vikings coaching staff, sure. I mean, Adam was curious, right? You're going to ask those questions. Why can't I get on the field? What am I doing wrong? Why aren't these opportunities being given to me, right? So there were certainly some interesting conversations, but I don't think it was contentious or, bad blood or anything like that. I think there's still a mutual respect there. KOC, others with the Vikings, and Adam Thielen, especially with them doing him this solid. Because the Vikings could have said, hey, you know what? Hey, we spent so much money, right? Like $5 million. We'll just give you the $5 million, but we want you here. We're not going to do you this favor. And so, there has to be some sort of mutual respect in the end for the Vikings to say, okay, go chase the ring if you can go find a spot that wants you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so hard to figure out because not enough has sort of leaked out behind the scenes, but just some of the little things that us and we have heard, and winning tends to improve the vibes and losing tends to increase the fractures, but vibes are very different inside that organization now compared to a year ago. And I'm wondering, Doogie, how fixable do you think all of this is? This is probably beyond the worst case scenario that the Wilfs envisioned, and O'Connell and Kwesi, in terms of wins and losses. And I mean, they have right now collectively the worst quarterback passer rating in the NFL as a team. Wentz plus McCarthy plus Brosmer. The lowest average net. They are the worst passing offense in the league, Doogie. And that is Kevin O'Connell's supposed specialty, right? I mean, he is one of the most pass-proud and pass-happy offensive play callers and coaches in the NFL. And this is what we're staring at as we get into the last month of the 2025 season. How fixable do you think all of this is going into the offseason in 2026? How fixable do we think they think it is?
Well, I mean, think about it, Phil. 1 month ago today, November 2nd, the Vikings win in Detroit to move to 4-4. Just 1 month ago, it didn't seem all doom and gloom. Now, hey, the way they lost to Atlanta, the way they lost to the Chargers, sure, even the way they lost to the Eagles, some of that, right? But it wasn't all doom and gloom just 1 month ago. Think about earlier this calendar year, leading into week 18, 14-2 Vikings at Detroit, the 1 seed on the line. That was literally earlier this calendar year. So we're not that far removed.
That's crazy.
From greatness. But yeah, it's completely broken, right? I mean, you talk about KOC. What about the staple of the Brian Flores defense being able to take the ball away from the opposition? 31st in the NFL this year, take-give ratio. You think about all the money they spent, I don't have the exact number, but this cash-wise is the most expensive roster in the NFL. Think about all the tough decisions that need to be made. Maybe there's not that many tough decisions. Maybe the TJ Hawkinson decision, others. Maybe those are very easy decisions. But think about all the veteran decisions that need to be made come March, right? Phil, I hearken back often to the Fillmore, right? Draft party that Thursday night. The excitement we had, right? Super Bowl window wide open. I mean, is it even open a sliver at this point?
No.
I don't know how you could say that. It's completely shut. Yeah. Now, I get it. Things can change fast, but I don't know how it even opens halfway in 2026. So, yeah, I mean, there are all sorts of difficult conversations that will continue to be had. They're already being had. I can promise you that. KOC is not in trouble. I get it. The criticism, whatever, right? I mean, I would have taken the field goal. Heck,
me too.
I'm still upset Jordan Addison didn't run to the sticks on 3rd and 6, that they should have converted on that 3rd down. But 4th and 1, you either run, okay. I would have just taken the field goal the way the defense was playing at that point, right? We can go at KOC for any number of things. I can't go at KOC for the decision Max Brosmer made on that play just to fling it, right? That's on Max. Max knows better. That was weird. I can't put that one on KOC, but we can go at KOC. But there's nothing that KOC has to worry about. And I know you guys have asked me a lot about Kwesi Adolfo-Mensa's future. You know, signs a 4-year extension earlier this calendar year. Is he in trouble? I just haven't gotten that sense, but I can tell you something like that, how would it not be on our radar? Like, it has to be on our radar, something we think about. There is inevitably going to be a fall guy or two, whether it's the O-line coach, special teams coordinator, right? I mean, there's going to be changes come January. But, Phil, I don't know. We could do an entire week of shows on that question you threw my way. And I don't have all the answers, but I do know they are painfully far away when just even a month ago, or certainly 10 and a half months ago, we didn't think that was anything in the realm of possibilities.
Yeah. Is there the Patriots last night, another celebration for them on national TV?
Yeah, I mean,
They're
how good did Drake May look, right?
Yeah.
They knew, right? They loved Drake May. That was their guy, right? We've gone up and down, right? The Josh McCown connection, all that. Drake May was their guy, Phil. Yeah. The problem was they won too many games in 2023, right? Like, they're stuck in middle purgatory too often. This year, don't you think they find a way to win at least one, if not a couple more games, whether it's the Commanders, the Giants, maybe even one of those final 2 home games, Lions, Packers, that they're going to finish with more than 4 wins? Like, in an ideal world, you finish the season with a 9-game losing streak. You finish 4-13. You're drafting, what, 4th, 5th? No. If you finish 4-13, maybe 3rd, somewhere in that ballpark, 6th, something like that, instead of 11th, 12th, 13th. They're too often stuck in middle purgatory. But, yeah, go ahead. I mean, you can give Drake May love on your end, too. But I just thought he was phenomenal again last night.
But a year ago, and I'll give you this. Drake May, better prospect, better fit for most offensive systems. Like, he's a more surefire prospect than McCarthy. And he was better in the first season than McCarthy has been in the first 6 games. But there was a lot. I mean, there was a lot of. I have friends in like the Patriots media who were out on Drake May after the first, just because everyone is so. If you're bad right away, you would make a judgment, and they're firing their coach, and they were like a 4-win team or whatever it was a year ago, and it was a disaster in New England. But then the young quarterback gets another year under his belt. The coaching change to Mike Vrabel has been a big culture builder for them. But the most important thing for them, too, is, 2 things. Quarterback, another year of experience, boom, liftoff. And weakest schedule, last place schedule in the league.
I'm glad you hit on that.
The Vikings are going to get a weak schedule.
Yeah.
So is there do the Patriots at all provide a light at the end of the tunnel for the Vikings going into 2026?
Yeah, I mean, easy schedule, right? I mean, heck, you think about it, the Raiders beat the Patriots week 1. That seems like forever ago. But yes, the Patriots have had an incredibly easy schedule. So I don't have it in front of me. So we're talking about what, 3 games? Is that really what it is? Because you're locked in with the 6 division games, and you have crossover.
In their division, they get the Jets
games.
and the Dolphins in their division. The Vikings don't have a Jets or a Dolphins in this division next year.
So I don't have, Declan, do you have it somewhat handy, the 2026? Yep. So we're talking about 3 games, right? That you think about finishing in last place, which, hey, is going to happen. I don't think Detroit is about to completely fall apart. So I think the Vikings end up finishing 4th in the North. Okay, so what will that get them for 2026?
So right now, the Vikings will play at home next year. Their 3 divisional opponents, plus the Falcons, Bills, Panthers, Dolphins. And then they'll play the last place team in the NFC East and the last place team in the AFC South. On the road, they will play the Patriots, the Saints, the Jets, the Bucks, and the last place team in the NFC West.
Cardinals. So
okay,
Cardinals,
so you're playing
Saints.
the Cardinals. That's locked in. And it looks like the Giants.
And
maybe still the Commanders, but probably the Giants. So you're looking at the Giants, the Cardinals. What was the third one?
NFC South, right?
NFC Titans,
Giants,
right?
Cardinals.
AFC South?
AFC South.
AFC South. My bad.
AFC South.
Okay,
so the Titans. Let's
Giants,
go. Oh, fire
Cardinals.
up. Let's go.
Okay, well,
11 wins.
Okay.
I counted 12. 13.
I mean, hey, that is one heck of a schedule. That is a nice schedule right now, right? With, hey, March to go, the draft to go. But as we sit here right now, you like the 2026 Vikings schedule. That is putting a smile on my face. I still think the Super Bowl window is completely shut. But if I'm trying to find any sort of positivity to open it up just ever so slightly, okay, you sold me. I like that 2026 schedule. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's something to be said about that. I mean, I still think, Phil, there's something to be said about JJ is only 22 years old. That we can't write the final chapter.
Yeah,
we can't do it. I still have, to me, the biggest concern is, can the young man stay on the field? We can go up and down on the footwork, the mechanics, this, that. He just needs to stay on the field. That is now absolutely an issue. But I am not ready to give up on JJ McCarthy. Maybe it's the love he has for you, that pass he completed to you.
I had a dream about him last night. I dead serious had a vivid.
Wow.
I'll tell you the dream. Vivid dream about JJ McCarthy. So my wife and I and some friends were like at a football game. We were sitting in the stands of a football game of some kind, and JJ was there as a fan, and he was sitting kind of in our area, and he saw me. And I'm JJ, what's going on, buddy? And he kind of came, like he hopped over the row that he was sitting to come over and sit by me. And he just comes and he's shaking his head and he goes, I'm so bad. He's like being hard on himself. He's like, I'm so bad right now. I'm so bad. And he's frustrated. And he sits down next to me and I'm like patting him on the back saying, dude, it's fine. You're a badass, man. You're JJ McCarthy. Everything. I'm like pumping his tires, trying to get his confidence up. And I woke up and I was like, I wonder if this exact thing is happening behind the scenes right now, or he's like, man, I can't stay on the field. But yes, I'm at the point in the Viking season, Dukes, my deliriousness trying to figure out this team. I'm dreaming vividly about patting JJ McCarthy on the
I think it was at dinner last night, dude.
It might have been.
This actually happened.
JD Hoyt.
Yeah, are we? Yeah. Possibly talking about reality that it's not a dream, Phil, considering the relationship you have with JJ McCarthy. I mean, yes, I guess, right? If we're trying to cling to different things and hope is a beautiful thing, I guess. All right. But I'm just saying, I just can't, right? We discussed Dallas Turner a few weeks ago, right? People labeling him a bust. Okay, the body of work at that point. But then think about even the last few games, right? How good Dallas Turner has been, who is also 22 years old. Dallas Turner was, if not the youngest, the second youngest defensive player in his draft class. You don't give up on a player that young. Just like, hey, you brought up Flagrant Howls at some point. I wouldn't give up on Rob Dillingham. Yeah, it looks bad right now, right? But I can't do it with players that young. And it's still not all on even all those quarterback numbers you laid out. That the Vikings statistically, Brosmer, Wentz, McCarthy, worst. You go up and down the list of stats, right? that the Vikings are the worst collection of quarterback play in the NFL this year. Nobody can debate that, okay? But you think about the interior of the offensive line, how many breakdowns there have been. Think about all the free agent signings in March outside of Eric Wilson. So many swings and misses. Maybe some foul balls, others a straight swing and miss, right? To me, Jonathan Allen, more foul ball, not a swing and miss. But that's semantics, right? Outside of Eric Wilson, you can't say that they hit on any free agent or even re-signing Byron Murphy Jr., right? Some of the guys they decided to bring back. And so it is a complete system failure, maybe outside of Wright and Reichard, right? But just about a complete system failure. But it doesn't necessarily mean that 2026 is going to be the same. It doesn't, right? I need to see things play out just a bit more. So I don't know. It's hard for me to be optimistic right now, but I'm not like completely depressed or pessimistic. Now, I will also tell you, though, I do know this from a few players, that the frustration, like that stage of grief, it's beyond that. Like there's an acceptance at this point that this is pretty much rock bottom. They're not digging out of this hole. Yeah, I still think they find a way to win a game or perhaps even two. But I get the sense, I'm not saying collectively, 60-something players in that locker room when including practice squad, but I get the sense on background from a couple players that they're beyond the frustration stage of grief.
Yeah, that they should be. There's a couple injury things we have to hit on here with you in just a moment, Doogie, after we shout out North American Banking Company powering Purple Daily this season. North American Banking Company is Minnesota-based since 1998, 6 locations across the Twin Cities, and they value a couple things above all else: personal relationships and cutting-edge online tools. In fact, it's great. Like last week, I had to just hop on a quick call to exchange some information about something banking related with North American Banking Company, and I got to talk to a real human. It was great. You don't have to go through automated prompts like you would maybe with some of the bigger banks if you have that personal relationship. So whatever you're looking for, whether it's checking, savings, or something bigger financially, North American Banking Company can give you a better banking experience. nabankcode.com/Mackey, member FDIC, equal housing lender. We haven't had many celebratory sips of Pendleton whiskey. The official 10-year stadium anniversary bottles here for the Minnesota Vikings, and a proud partner of the Vikings. It's been a while since we've had a celebratory sip, but maybe before the end of the season. I'm like with Dukes. I'm not really rooting for it because 4-13 gets you a better draft pick, but in case a win happens, then it is smooth enough to sip after a win. It's not just poured, it's earned at Pendleton whiskey. Just like in Minnesota, nothing is given. Crafted with grit and bottled for those who fight hard for their reward. Pendleton whiskey is the whiskey you want for your Vikings game days. Check them out at your local liquor store. 2025 Pendleton Distillers, ProximoSpirits.com. Please drink responsibly. So we're going to get injury reports coming out like tomorrow, but we know now, in addition to the whole left side of the offensive line being out last week and trying to get back this week, Blake Brandel, who's been the starting center, he was starting at left guard, but then Ryan Kelly came out with a hip pointer. So you're like, oh, well, Brandel's going to come back in and start at center. So Kelly hip pointer, Brandel concussion protocol now, and you're trying to get the left side of your offensive line back. Our pets' heads are falling off. McCarthy's going to have to come back with a bunch of, I don't know. What do we know about some of these injuries here, Dukes? And Aaron Jones again dinged up.
Yeah, I mean, heck, credit Will Fries for at least staying healthy this year. I mean, I'm not sure we can credit him for anything else, but hey, at least he stays on the field.
North American Banking Company.
2 men in a truck.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's numerous, right? But my understanding is outside of Donovan Jackson, like if he misses one more game, that wouldn't shock me as we sit here on Tuesday. Of course, let's see how Wednesday and Thursday play out. But my understanding is going back to late last week to week with the ankle. And so Donovan Jackson is the one. Like Christian Darrisaw, I see him on the field on Sunday. Aaron Jones, it's not a new injury. It's a re-aggravation of the shoulder. I mean, he played through the pain earlier this year. I imagine he'll be able to do that again. He actually told me he didn't even need a cortisone shot or anything. So who knows? Whatever he needs to do, just knowing the toughness of Aaron Jones, it's hard for me to see him missing Sunday. Remains to be seen somewhat, right? I mean, we're sitting here 5 days prior to kickoff, but really the only one where I'm like, ooh. Now, Brandell, right? I mean, he was in there on Monday, and he was feeling good, looking good. Like I told you last Monday or last Tuesday when we spoke that I was in the locker room 8 days ago. JJ McCarthy looked good, but it's a process to clear the concussion protocol. So Brandell is in the concussion protocol. So that may be one game, right? But that's not some sort of long-term issue. Ryan Kelly was feeling pretty good on Monday with the hip issue. And so they should be relatively healthy. Like, I don't think it's going to be a bunch of guys sitting out. Theo Jackson as well. I don't think it'll be a bunch of guys sitting out on Sunday. But hey, at some point, if you're the Vikings, do you say, okay, like, let's not push these guys. Let's go the conservative route. We go the conservative route often anyway.
Yeah.
Do we go the conservative route that, hey, like, if we lose, it's not the end of the world?
Yeah.
I know it's weird, and nobody would ever admit that on the record. But does that somehow creep into the line of thinking at all that, hey, as we play out the string here, December into early January, week 18, hey, let's not push guys. It's okay at this point because we know we're not making the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, you're trying to balance because your top priority now is getting JJ McCarthy. I know a lot of people are just kind of sick of it and out, and it looks so bad and the season's over, but these 5 games are still so important for the future of your quarterback position. So to your point, you're trying to balance. Are you pushing guys? I don't want Darisaw to push it because I don't want like a long-term injury to happen again. But I also want JJ McCarthy to have a car to drive. So you are really trying to balance those two things with some of these plays, especially the offensive
Yeah, I mean, there is
line.
something to be said. I agree on these final 5 games for JJ McCarthy. Knock on whatever that he can play all 5 games. That, yeah, you don't want Justin School at left tackle. You don't want a backup at left guard like Joe Huber or something like that, right? Like, you want your guys in there. You want Ryan Kelly snapping him the ball. You want Aaron Jones. Maybe it's not 40-something snaps or 30-something snaps, but he's out there as a weapon, right? Maybe it's a little bit more of a Jordan Mason load in terms of backfield snaps, but you want the full complement of offensive guys for JJ. I do think there is something to be said about that, but I'm just saying there is no reason to me to push any of these guys. Not that they do. I mean, I don't even think they were pushing guys, in September. It's not what they do from everything I can gather, right? Think about Jalen Naylor wanting to go the conservative approach. I can cite other examples, right? Hawkinson going back, I can go up and down the list, right? So I'm just saying they usually go the conservative route. And so I guess keep going the conservative route. But all these guys, Brandell and Kelly and Jones, Jackson, Darisaw, like, there's nothing that I'm thinking, okay, we're not going to see one of these guys until, Christmas Day against the Lions. Like, these are all short-term issues.
Yeah. Dukes, any other final things for the road here on this Tuesday session?
No. I mean, I was over there on Monday. I mean, tip of the cap to Andrew Van Ginkel, Levi Drake Rodriguez, Eric Wilson for taking some time to chat with us. Certainly Kevin O'Connell does his normal Monday news conference. And so, it's weird. It really is. I mean, I can't put this year up there with 2010 or some of the other odd years that we've experienced, but like, they haven't had a whole lot. You go back a long, long time. They haven't had a whole lot of disastrous seasons. Well, this is a disaster, right? But I can't put it like number 1 or number 2, but at some point we could do a show on just, okay, let's list, okay, of all the disastrous seasons, where does 2025 rank? And so just add the Adam Thielen situation to the list of stuff, right? Like, I don't think now that it happened and after he was a healthy scratch on Sunday, it makes sense. But it's not like I thought Sunday night into early Monday morning, okay, I think Adam Thielen is about to get released. But now that I think about it, what Blake Barrett's told me back in the springtime and all that, it makes sense. But it didn't hit me in the moment. So just add the Thielen situation to the long list of what the F's this year.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I don't think we're going to be done with the what the F's as this
No
carnage continues to sort itself out. We'll see. Be an interesting. I was going to say 2 months, but it'll be an interesting 6 months for the Minnesota Vikings here, Dukes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We can go up and down the list of all the guys. I mean, we did it a couple weeks ago, right? But just looking at all the cap numbers, and we can do that exercise again because it is going to be a fascinating February, March combine time. All the rumors that start to leak out. Harrison Smith. I mean, we need to celebrate his career at some point. I mean, it's really, really hard to see Harrison Smith, even if it was a good year, hard to see Harrison Smith back next year. And so, I think he's one of the guys that, I'm telling you, I think the frustration, it's beyond that at this point. There's an acceptance that, hey, weird things can happen in sports. Weird things can happen in this sport in particular. Nobody foresaw this happening in August, but here we are. And so just a stage of acceptance at this point.
Yep. All right, folks. Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department. We'll see you again on Thursday here on Purple Daily Dukes. Great stuff, man.
Sounds good.
All right,
See
for
ya.
Dex,